Hey everybody, welcome back to another Clash Island voice actor interview. Let's get into the first question, which is who are you? Who do you voice in Clash Island and how long have you been voice acting for?
Hello, my name is Rick, and I voice Markiplier in this series. I've been voice acting for a little more than a year, off and on, as a hobby.
Nice, nice. And this is your natural voice? Because I don't think I've ever heard you talk normal before.
No, this is my natural, relaxed voice that I use for most situations.
Oh, okay, because it sounds, I can see why we picked you to play Markiplier now, especially. It's very close. So how did you get the role of Markiplier, and what was your experience in auditioning for the role?
I believe I was able to get the role from a casting call club audition. I just decided, you know what, I'm going to try something. Friends say that I sound pretty close to Markiplier, so I gave it a shot, and I was lucky enough to get chosen.
Oh, well, they were right on the money with you saying just like Markiplier. I think most people are going to I think their jaws are going to hit the floor when they sound or hear what you sound like. It's actually pretty impressive. So, what do you like most about playing Markiplier, and what about them do you find interesting?
I enjoy how animated he is compared to a lot of other streamers and YouTubers. He stays animated for relatively long amounts of time, but it doesn't feel forced. It feels very natural. It feels very comfortable when you sit down and listen to his videos, whether it be his earlier stuff when he was just starting out and rough around the edges to the more laid back Markiplier that we see today.
Nice, yeah. He's you doing his voice. It's always it's always great when animating Markiplier in the show because you're just so spot on with everything you just said about Markiplier. He's always so animated. So whenever I get to animate you playing Markiplier, it's always you carry a lot of the weight of scenes that Markiplier is in the show because you've kind of got that thing going on. So it's animating stuff that you're in is always great.
um, Markiplier, as character like Mark Fishbach, has been around for a very long time. So if you've been on YouTube for a quite amount of time, you're naturally sort of subjected to him, especially during the early years where there wasn't this oversaturation of streamers and YouTubers. Um, a little bit of a difficulty for me personally is trying. I how do we put this in a way? Though it seems pretty natural to be Markiplier or to voice the character, um, it does kind of wear on me personally during longer takes, due to the fact that I do need to keep a higher energy, and um, as a personal note, I do need to sort of build up my endurance to keep up with what would be the characterization in your series.
Yeah, because I think I recall when we recorded the Markiplier stuff for the actual pilot, we did some live direction where we were both on call together. And we had to go through so much dialogue because Mark does so much talking in the pilot. So yeah, if those were a little bit grating back then, I do apologize.
No, it's all right.
The next question: were you a fan of Markiplier before you were cast as him?
Yes, actually, I was a very big fan during his early years before he got, super big with his Happy Wheels videos and Amnesia stuff. One of my earliest memories with the character or the person himself was when he would play, I believe it was Dust with his older brother. And, normally in those early days, it wasn't scripted content. It felt very natural, and having that sort of familial dynamic between him and his older brother with all the stuff that, they've been through together, and to kind of sit down and just play a game and talk about stuff was very eye-opening to me.
Oh yeah, I know my old roommate was a big fan of Markiplier when it came to watching his Five Nights at Freddy's content. So yeah, I was very much. I haven't really watched much Markiplier stuff at all, if any. I think I maybe seen like one Five Nights at Freddy's video by Markiplier, but I know that he is a very like beloved internet figure. So I wanted to make sure that the host of the show was a very much beloved internet figure that everybody could kind of get behind as the host of the show. And Markiplier was my first choice, not only because of his personality, but because people used to do like drawings of Markiplier as the host of Total Drama, Chris McLean, and how similar they look. So I thought it was a nice touch to have Mark be the host just based on that as well. What was your initial thoughts on the script for Clash Island? Like when you first heard of the project, what did you first think of it and such?
How much caffeine I'm gonna have to consume to keep up with the script?
Yeah, that I think like we said before, that script had you run a marathon to get through it. So, but yeah, just lots of talking, and it's only gonna get worse if this picks up. 'Cause you're gonna be in every episode, and you're gonna be doing like all the exposition. So it's only gonna get worse.
I don't mind at all.
Yeah, it's like better buckle up, Buckaroo. It's like South Park. Personally, what would you like to see happen in Clash Island, and what aspects of the project make you excited to be a part of it?
Suffice to say, I'm not as attracted to the internet as I was in my early days. So trying to keep up with all of the modern-esque streamers that we currently have mirrored in the series, I would like to see some of the older YouTubers be brought into the series if possible. Their names escape me. It's been over like a decade and a half since I've first watched YouTube and first enjoyed most of the earlier content, but nostalgia is quite a trip, and hopefully seeing somebody that was beloved in the past and is sorely missed in a sense of them not either doing content anymore or going on with their lives, having them come back in sort of this digital last hurrah would be interesting to see.
Yeah, that sounds like a good idea. Actually, bringing in some old retired YouTubers. Yeah, I guess there's some names that escape me as well, but there is definitely, I think, some room to have that happen if we could think of some retired voice or not voice actors, some like retired YouTubers that could come back. Like it'd be like I know MatPat just recently retired, but it'd be cool to see him come on for an episode or have him cameo for something, or bring in somebody who is a veteran of YouTube who's kind of been gone for a bit. Kind of like I know PewDiePie has kind of went into the background a little bit, and he's been around forever as well. So yeah, I would like to see that too. Bring back some oldies, some veterans of the YouTube space to come in and have some fun with us. Alrighty, and I guess we'll go on to one of the final questions. Not the final question, but one of the last ones, which is, lots of people would like to get into voice acting. What advice or suggestions would you give people interested in pursuing voice acting?
For those who are starting in the voice acting space, don't be afraid to try for roles, even though you might think that, you're not a fit for it. Mostly it comes down to, you're not going to be selected for everything. You're not going to win every matchup against veterans of the voice acting space or somebody with better equipment, but just trying to see what you can get, because in the voice acting space, experience is key and exposure is key. If you're not at least trying to expand your horizons in terms of roles and such, even something quirky to something serious, you're not gonna get the experience you need unless you are willing to try in something that you may even fail for. And in the voice acting space, even the greatest voice actors that you see in anime and cartoons and video games, their success rate is very low, like 3% at times. Like 3 out of 100 auditions, they land. So don't be afraid of failure. Just try.
Yeah, that's some great advice. I've been asking all the voice actors I've been talking to about what people should do to become a voice actor and such. And a lot of the same advice is to just go out there and try an audition and try for a lot of different things, because a lot of people come to me asking if they can voice in my projects. And it's just specifically people that want to voice in my kind of like in the total drama-esque style projects. And I often have to tell them like, no, like I can't have you in the project because I'm trying to look for somebody who's semi-professional or wants to do voice acting seriously. And I think a lot of them just want to do voice acting for this kind of content, but I think the advice is good for those who want to become voice actors. They see content like mine as something they would like to get into, but obviously I'm looking for somebody that's more like up to your speed, or somebody who's more refined in the voice acting so far. So trying to give people advice on how to become voice acting is something that I think my audience would really like, or people who would come to me a lot and ask me if they can voice in my projects would find advice like yours. And everybody that I've had so far, there's literally tons of overlap on the advice. It's actually kind of remarkable how often all of you have said the exact same things. And I think that's, once you start hearing people say the exact same things, you should probably start believing that and doing what those people are saying that's overlapping. And that's like almost like note for note the same stuff that's been said before. And I think the audience hearing that is going to drive into the fact that you can't just only apply for like projects that you want to be a part of. You have to apply for multiple things to even start to try doing voice acting for like even just as a hobby.
Correct.
Yeah. And I guess the final question is how can people follow you personally and find other projects you've been in?
I have an IMDb page. I'm known as Richard J. Nelson the Second. Just type that in the IMDb bar and you can see my works. As for contacting me directly, Discord's fine. The CCC page is all right as well. It's rick.mobile, itsrick.mobile, if you want to contact me directly. And hey, I'm available all hours of the day. I'm supposed to be working, but I can multitask.
Whip out the phone and do some multitasking. All right, well, I want to thank you again for taking the time out of your day to do this interview. I just want to say personally to you, great job on all the work on all the voice acting I had you do just a couple days ago, for the disclaimer at the start of the pilot, for the after credits scene, and for the promo, for the trailer. Like I was talking to other voice actors about how amazed I was at how great those takes turned out, because I usually do the live directing and then you just shot those lines off to me and I opened them and they were just like perfect, literally like in my like what I was thinking in my brain you just automatically gave to me in line. So I was like, that's probably like the most amazed I've ever been by somebody just like sending me lines. So I want to just say thank you for all the hard work you've done so far, and I appreciate you voice acting Markiplier and being the host of Clash Islands very much.
Hey, it's no problem at all, and you are actually a very good script writer. A lot of times it is difficult on my end to kind of sync with a project owner or a script writer, but yours has been one of the easiest things to kind of get in character and to give you what you require right off the bat, and I think that's very good.
Thank you very much. I do appreciate it. Sometimes I do think I'm not a good writer, but obviously everyone I've spoken to so far has told me to the contrary, and I'm starting to very much believe it. So thank you very much. And with that, everybody, I think that's the end of the interview. Thank you for watching, and we'll be back with more interviews later on.
Thank you.